and welcome back to the Crafts of Note. I'm Crystal, and today I'm going to show you all of my February makes, including the shirt that I am wearing, Simplicity S9107. I will be starting with that one first, since I am wearing it, and have a twirl and a discussion. I made out of this green crepe and eyelash lace sleeves. This pattern was kind of a nightmare. It is huge. It is huge compared to what you measure at. The amount of ease is astounding. So when I was making this, it was very, very big, and I ended up having to take complete inches out of the size. You can still see I have ease, but it looked like a big bag sack. And I made a regular size that I would normally make. And it gave me a lot of problems, which I think is what has led to the back here being kind of wonky, because this is the pleating and the sizing for what it was originally. I have taken out like 4 inches or so on each side, no kidding. So the pleating in the back is a little strange because now it pulls, but I don't think it would have looked good any other way. But the fit is a little awkward now because it isn't as huge as it was supposed to be. And it's finished with bias binding, and with the crepe I used, which is a lightweight crepe, like it's got a lot of flow, but it just makes the sleeves and the neckline kind of stiff looking and feeling. Instead of like, it's supposed to be this huge drapey flowy thing, and on the picture they must have used a different bias binding or something, I don't know, because it just, I feel like the sleeves stick out and then they flop with the lace. And this is the suggested fabric, no less. And then the actual fit down here, I actually made the longer version even though I was doing VUD with the cap sleeves. And then the cap sleeves also are cut on a curve, which wasn't the best for the eyelash lace. As you can see, it's a little awkward. This is not my favorite shirt that I have made. But I can wear it, and then when I make something I like better, I will donate it or reuse the fabric for something else. I don't know if I will make this pattern again. It'd be interesting to see how it lies with one size down and maybe a even thinner drapier fabric that just kind of like falls and clings. It doesn't work very well in this crepe, even at the big size. The big size was awful, but cut down it's even better. It looks okay. It looks okay. And then the bottom is finished with a fold over rolled hem, and I just did a serge, put it up because there's like a corner, there's a literal corner in here, and that was really awkward, but I got it to work nicely with just doing serge and push up hem versus the double roll, and it lies pretty well. Again, the bottom is for the original size, so taking it in at the sides made it a little awkward on the sides too. But you know, it was to save the garment and not completely lose the shirt. Live and learn, right? This is why it was kind of a muslin, essentially. This fabric was pretty cheap, and the eyelash lace, it used hardly any of it. So like, I probably made this whole shirt for about $5, so I'm not torn up about it. I just wanted to see, because the pattern was my make 9, and I had really loved how it looked, and I love lace sleeves, but it did not work. So on to better patterns for this. If you have any suggestions for something like this, let me know. My Pinterest board is full of like this kind of style and coloring and everything. But otherwise, it's wearable, and we'll see what happens next time I try to do one like this. The other thing I made a lot of this month was 3 pair of Sigrid Panties from Beware, made by Vogue. This is a panty that has 2 options, 2 rise options, and a lot of sizing options. And as Beware puts it in the pattern, it's designed to not stretch the selvage of the fabric. So it's not supposed to wear it out by constantly having tension on it against the elastic. So this is a really good pattern if you have precious fabric, delicate fabric, fabric that doesn't have so much stretch, things that won't take the wear and tear that you still want to use to make really pretty panties. So I'm going to give you a closer look, but I made 3 pairs. So I have a red lace pair, bright red lace pair with matching findings. And then I have a cotton jersey pair, I think it's a jersey mix actually, with matching findings. This is the first pair I made, the very test pair basically. Then the other one I made was a pair that is for a matching set with a bra that I made, the Boylston Bra. So let's take a closer look at the Sigrid Panties. This is my test pair that's made with a soft, drapey mixed jersey from Joann's in this color, kind of like a tomato red. I think it's actually called tomato. And then the elastics are from Bra Builders. And I had them dyed in the flame color. So this is the flame color, which is like a muted red. And they are picot, decorative picot down here. This is a very thin elastic. It was a pain in the butt, let me tell you, to sew on because there's not a lot to flip. Very narrow zigzag and flip amount for the elastic. I did it again on one of the other pairs. It was probably the most frustrating thing I sewed all month. And then if we look closer at the top, we have this looped picot elastic that we did, and also from Bra Builders. Everything is sewn with a zigzag stitch. I just did a simple zigzag stitch on the top. I didn't finish it. That's my preference. And then this one, as I was explaining, stitch on the outside, flip to the inside type. So they're very comfortable. The test pair is a little wonky because I wasn't sure how big to make some of the elastic, but that's the first pair. The second pair I made is inspired by Valentine's Day. And it's in this bright red stretch lace from Joann's. I got it in the clearance section actually, so it was really cheap to make. And this worked really well. They're very, very, very bright. And I used a white cotton gusset for this. And then the elastics are actually left over from a bra kit that I had. And that was from Bra Maker Supply in this bright red. They happened to match perfectly. So I was like, oh, okay, well, let's use it. The one thing about the Sigrid panties, they're very comfortable because they don't want to stretch very much, even if you use a stretch fabric. So they just kind of like sit very lightly on your body. They're super comfortable, but they look humongous when you make them. These are like twice the size of any store-bought underwear that I have. But because they don't stretch much, that's why. So when you make your Sigrid panties, just know they're going to look huge. But they're very comfortable and they look nice on. They don't look any different than other underwear on. And so these are really cool. And I like how the lace gets like shiny and stuff on there. There's some shiny bits. And a little wonky in the back. I sewed it the same way as the other one. The back, I had too much elastic actually, and I didn't stretch this enough. So there's a little bit of a wavy part there. But the rest of it was fine. Like the leg holes were fine. The last pair is my favorite pair. This pair right here. These are to go with my Boylston bra that I made this month. And this stretch fabric with the metallic on it is from Etsy. And I had that in my Bra Builders bra making haul. I was explaining this fabric. So I used it for this. And then I have these Whisper Pink findings are also from Bra Builders. I have the 1-inch plush waistband, and this is that same elastic, that thin picot that I had on the other one. Still a pain to sew, let me tell you. So these are really pretty, comfortable. They look great with the bra. So that's my last pair of Sigrid panties. Highly recommend you try the pattern if you haven't yet. So besides the Sigrid panties, I also made a matching bra to go with a pair of the Sigrid panties. And that is the Boylston bra. Now let's take a look at the Boylston bra that I made this month. The Boylston bra, it's still in this beautiful metallic fabric. As you can see, it reflects really well in the light and it has a medium blue navy background. I sewed it with light pink thread, the Gutermann Mara 120. It's what Emerald Erin sells, and it works really, really, really well for bra making. The stitches are very clean and smooth. I don't have any issues. I don't get skip stitches as much. And it looks really nice and lays really flat. So I highly recommend trying that thread if you have not. The pink findings, again, are the Whisper from Bra Builders. And then I lined it because it's a stretch fabric I used. I'm going to put a blog post tutorial of how to use only stretch fabric on your Boylston bra. So I lined it in sheer cup lining in white because that's what I had on hand. Worked nice, finished all the seams. I like how it looks from the inside with the pink. And then from the outside again, I wanted to use this fabric because I knew that you could make fabric straps on it, and I thought that they looked really cool with the extra fabric. And I tried to match pretty well the flowers and making sure that all the flowers kind of were evenly distributed and didn't have a giant one and one with no flowers. and it fit really well right out of the pattern. I hadn't made a Boylston bra before. This is my first one, and I made a 40B, and that fit pretty well. The only thing that I would say about it that was not so comfy is that it fits extremely tight. And I've heard this about orange lingerie patterns, but I feel like someone is like pressing my ribs in because it fits so tightly. So if I make it again, I will definitely make the band bigger. And I would suggest that if you don't like a really tight fit on your bras, that you might want to do so also, because it fits tight. One of the last things I made this month, which I actually just did at the very last weekend of February, is I made a pair of Avery leggings, and I have some footage of that to show you. So let's talk about the pattern, and then I'll give you a close-up. So the Avery leggings are two-optioned leggings that have an A and a B view. A view has shorter legs and a shorter rise, or a shorter waistband hit. And then the view B has a higher waistband hit, so it hits up at your natural waist, and then it also has the leg part that goes really long. Now the pattern is drafted for someone who's 5'6". I'm 5'10", and so I just made view B to see how that would fit me. And it actually kind of fits almost perfectly. I have just a little bit of extra in the leg part, and the rise hits right at my natural waist for the most part. So it worked out beautifully. And it was exciting because this was a pattern that I was getting ready to try out my serger's Flatlock Stitch on. I've had my serger for a while, but I've never had a project where I could use that. And I regularly use poly yarn for my music products that I make for my Etsy shop. So I was going to try this out for the Flatlock stitching. So I'll give you a closer look of that right now. I just wanted to show you the Flatlock stitch and how cool that came out. So I used poly yarn, and that was in my lower looper for my Flatlock stitch, and then I used regular blue thread in the needle. And when you do the Flatlock stitch with the poly yarn, you get these really cool seam stripes here that are plush because you have the poly yarn there. And I did this all on the waist part and then the front center, and then all the other ones I did the opposite side so that I got the ladder stitch coming out. I did this on the inner seam because the legs seam is down the middle, and I didn't want the poly yarn rubbing if I had it in the middle. And then to hem it, I actually used the Flatlock stitch too, which is really cool because you don't have anything on either side. And these are great. And then how the pattern fits. So the leggings are very comfortable. They fit really well. I used this performance black fabric from Joann's, which was very stretchy, had full recovery. They're see-through, they're not see-through, they're squat proof, and they're very comfortable. They don't pull or anything. And that's why I'm doing kicks in the video and everything. And the Flatlock stitching was very secure, held through. I had no issues there. I wore them for an entire day, and they were very comfortable. And the waistband is adjustable. You can make it whatever size you want when you're finishing it. So the waistband makes it hold however tight you want up at the top. And the sizing was really consistent for me. I've heard in some of the reviews people said it fit small. They didn't fit small for me. They fit kind of perfect because I went in between sizes. So my waist was one size and my hips were another size. So I think my waist was a 18 and my hips were a 24. So I went for the 20-22 size, and that was perfect for me. I would probably change it depending on if I had more compression fabric or less stretchy fabric. And then sewing it up was pretty easy, although there was a couple things in the pattern that were not clear to me. And I will explain those maybe in a blog post or maybe a video to help other people who, when they make this, they don't have to make my mistakes, because there was a lot of seam ripping of Flatlock stitches, a lot, because of little weird things that weren't clear. I will show you those issues when I make the blog post for my website. If you want a video of what those things are, let me know, and I'd be happy to make the video also. And then the last thing I made this month was actually a pair of earrings. So I have an embroidery machine, of which I do occasional things for my music products for my Etsy. So this was intended to be something new for the website, but I have a pair of my own that I was going to wear. And they are treble clef, and I have 1/8 note ones too, earrings. We'll take a closer look at that now as well. And I'm probably going to do different colors because, as I discovered, is that when these black ones are on, they don't show up well, especially if your hair is down, like mine is a lot. But they're pretty cool, and I thought they were pretty neat. I used silver, real silver hooks so that people with allergies wouldn't have any issues. I actually have one more make I forgot about this month because I was finishing something I made in the fall. It's this coat here that I made with a sparkle coating that I got on clearance from fabric.com. This is fleece lined satin that I got from Joann's. And then I also lined it with fleece. This was an anti-pill fleece, and I discovered after I sewed it that I sewed the wrong side out. If you're ever wondering when you have anti-pill fleece which one is the right side, it's the less soft side. So I got these buttons from Joann's as well. I don't know if I love this white cord, but I couldn't find, in the midst of the pandemic, matching cord. So I just did what I could with the white, but I don't like it. And the reason I did not finish this coat is that it didn't fit right here. Now it kind of does right now, but I need to move the buttons over because you can see that it gapes here, and they really ought to be over a little bit to make it fit properly. Also, I've got a bit of a wonky hem. Oh well, my first coat that I've ever made actually, and the instructions for the hem were really difficult and they did not work well. So that's the part that I had not finished besides the buttons. And if I sewed this again, which I actually do like the coat, I would change that part of the sewing of the hem. I'd probably do a bagged hem, bag the coat lining into the hem versus what they wanted me to do. So anyways, this is the coat. I like the lines with the bodice seaming. And I do like this fabric too. It's warm, especially with the fleece lining and the satin fleece sleeves. And I like the buttons. They have these cool reflective crosses on them. And the length and everything. It's good for where I live in the winter, although it's been pretty mild this year. And this is Vogue 8548. But this pattern is no longer in print. I got this pattern when I was in Anaheim in December 2019, somewhere where they were closing out the whole store. So here's the inside. So the top part remains coating and then the lining goes down, and I think it just creates a cool line actually when you sew it out loud with the contrasting colors. Anyway, I like it. I don't know how much I'm going to wear it because it doesn't fit that great, but I think if I move the buttons, it'll be all good. Thank you so much for watching my February Makes video. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Especially if you liked anything you saw, I'd love to hear about it. Have any pattern suggestions, let me know. And I'll see you next time.